Hello, I'm Dr. Balasubramanian. Today I'm going to show how we use the menu item in Scribus. For you to use the menu item, object should already be present on the Scribus document. So I have deleted the already present document. Now the entire page is empty. So the item menu is grayed out. So now what I will do is I will create a small text box here. So as I have created this text box, the item will become enabled. So the item is enabled. Now it opens. The first thing is duplicate. Supposing you click the duplicate item, exact replica of the object is performed. So another text box is created. Now the next sub menu is multiple duplicate. So for example, if you want to create many text boxes, so I am going to create 3 text boxes, and you can also set the gap between these boxes. So I asked the Scribus, I am setting the rotation, need not give a rotation 0. I want Scribus to create 3 copies of this object, that is text box. So what happens is it has created 3 copies and it has placed copy 1, copy 2, copy 3. So 3 copies have already been created by Scribus. And again, you can also create copies to fill in the rows. So for example, number of rows, number of columns. Suppose you create, I will remove all these documents created just to show. Now we have only one text box. Now I am going to create multiple duplicate by rows and columns. So I am going to give 2 rows, 2 columns, and I am going to have 3 copies. So let us see what happens. So 2 rows and 2 columns have been created, but since the text box is larger in size, it has gone out of the confines of the page. So if the text box is smaller, say for example, if we have a smaller text box, let us see the effect it creates. I have a small text box here, and now I am going to give multiple duplicate. I want say around 4 copies. I want to arrange it in rows, 2 rows. Horizontal gap I need to give 7 points, vertical gap also I need to give 7 points. See what happens. So 4 similar objects have been placed. 4 similar objects have been placed. So we can create boxes which are symmetrically arranged by choosing item and multiple duplicate. Now here I can select the object and transform this object to what so for example, I can scale down the image. I can scale down the box. See, it becomes reduced. I can scale down the box. So see, the box is scaling down. So you can transform these images either by, you can do a scaling, you can give it a translation. For example, you can translate the image. Say for example, let us say the horizontal, what happens? It has shifted. And then item, I can always give out transform, give add, then rotation. So I can give out the angle of rotation, say 7 degrees, the box is rotated. And now delete, I can always delete the selected box by clicking delete. So now I select the item and go to, say, next is the grouping. So I want to group all these boxes, objects together. So I select one box, hold the shift button, and all the boxes are selected. Now since the boxes have been selected, I can go ahead and give group. Supposing I group them, I can move them together in a single group. I can move them together in single group. I can go and change the shape of the group, or I can edit, use the handles to change the dimensions, change the shape. All these things can be done provided you have grouped these objects. Now again you go to item, you can also ungroup them, make them separate. Now all the objects have been separated. Now let us go to is locked. Supposing I lock this object, I won't be able to move this object. Then I go to item, uncheck this lock, I can move the object freely. Then size is locked. Supposing I lock the size, I won't be able to resize it. Supposing I uncheck the size is locked, since I have unchecked the size is locked, I will be able to increase the size. And then level, so I can raise the level. Say for example, see what happens is the object level is raised. Object is arranged. The first object will be in the first level, second created object will be in the second level, third created object will be in the third level. So the first I have raised the level. Next is what I'll say, I'll go to the level and I lower the level, and then here I can always lower to bottom. So among these three objects, the first objects I have raised the level, the second object I have reduced the level by one step, the third object I have reduced it still further. So the level is actually decided by which object is created first. The first object which is created first will be the lower level, and the objects created subsequently will occupy higher levels. And then if you want this to send it to the scrapbook, you can always send it to the scrapbook. Scrapbook is actually a feature in Scribus wherein it can be considered, it can be by analogy considered as a small book or a notebook where you can save the frequently used objects, text boxes or images. So you can send it to the main scrapbook by just doing it. The text box goes to the main scrapbook. And then send to patterns. Supposing you want to use this shape as a pattern, you can send it across to pattern, wherein you can use the pattern for designing your page layout. And supposing you have another layer on top of this layer, supposing I have a layer, add a layer, say for example I will add another layer. So I am going to say call this layer as test. Now I select this object. So this layer is there. Now I need to change the layer to background layer. I select this test and then go to item, send it to the test layer. So this here, since I have sent it to the test layer, I won't be able to do anything with the background layer. Suppose here this was in the background layer, this is in the background layer, this text box is in the test layer. So now I am able to select, since I gone change the layer. So now I am in the background layer. So similarly you can send these objects to your different layers. Now supposing you have an image frame and you have a image imported into it. So image is here. Now since the image is larger than the frame, I need to adjust image to frame. So now the frame appears to be larger than the image. Now I will go to the item and adjust frame to image. So this is done. Now what I will do is I will try to edit this image. What happens if I edit this image? If you would have installed the open source GIMP software, you can always edit the image, and after editing save the image, and then if you click the item update image, the edited image will be reflected here. And then image effects, so you can change the image effects, see what happens. You can change the color, so you can add filters like this. And then extended image properties, this is not applicable here. So preview settings, I can make the image visible in normal resolution. I can even make it visible in full resolution, depends on the processor and resources available within the system. Then attributes, so for example, if you want to, I have already in my previous sessions I have told that attributes is something which you link to your table of contents. So since you are not going to, this is not a text box, we don't give out any attributes here. And now PDF options, if it is a text box, so you can always say, you can say it is a bookmark, or you can say it is a annotation after selecting the box. You can convert this text frame to image frame, you can convert it into outline, you can convert it into a polygon. All these things is possible. And now supposing you have a text frame here, I am going to import text, get text. So text is here, but still some more text is, it's not fitting into the text box, some more text needs to be displayed. So what we'll do is, we will just select this box and then link this text box together. So what happens, this box gets linked. So item, you can link this text frame by clicking this, and then you can unlink these text frames by selecting the unlink text frame. You select all this, you can always unlink text frame, right? And then attach text to path. Here for example, we will change the layer to this layer. I'll get multiple instances of test. So I have created multiple instances of test. So I am going to insert a frame, a shape rather, a preform shape. Let us make it into an oval one. So now I am going to select this and this and go to item, attach text to path. See what happens, the text is beautifully getting attached to the path of the circle. So that can be done by going to item and attach to. So you can always also detach the text to the, by clicking the detach text from path. Now if you are inserted multiple polygons, for example image, so I'm having some polygons. So now I need to select these polygons. So I've selected these polygons. Now I'll go to combine polygons. So these polygons have been combined. So I'll be able to drag these polygons together. So all these polygons have been combined. And then if I want to split polygons, I can split the polygons. See, I have split. And then path tools. So here you can always give out, we will have to go to background, insert, you can spell the path tools. Supposing you want to give out the effects, lens effects, distortion, All these things you can do it by going to the path tools. So here I have selected all the polygons. I am going to give out lens effects. Supposing if I give out a lens effect, say fisheye lens, how it will be. So this is the lens effect you get. And now I'll go to the path tool and show distortion. I can add distortion to it like this. See what happens. So you can add distortion. So these are some of the uses of path tools and the various sub menus, which are really interesting as far as the item menu goes. Thank you.